On.
Good afternoon, everybody. Blue Collar Minutemen back at you here. Three guys just trying to keep this America great. Got Bill, me, and Justin all back here on the podcast. Bill, how's it going?
I'm doing good. How are you, Elton?
Doing pretty good. It's been a long week. Justin, what have you been up to?
Living the dream. That's all I can say.
Just want to say Justin is still honeymooning. He's in his honeymoon phase.
Yeah, it's been 6 months, but just took a crazy trip down to Gatlinburg. Much needed, I will say that.
Right. Well, I hate to rain on your parade, but we got a lot of stuff still to talk about. A lot of stuff going on.
What's really good, though, is when you go down to Gatlinburg and you visit all those Patriot stores, man. Lots of Trump merchandise out there.
Love it. So, Bill, I think we're going to start today's show off with these Dominion machines. We all are out there. We all know that they're used in this election. And we all know now that those machines can't act. So, and they found that out this past week in Georgia during the Georgia runoffs, where they got on television live and they hacked the Dominion machine as people were voting at the polls. What more proof do we need, people?
You know, this is starting to remind me of that Robin Williams movie, Man of the Year, when he ran for president.
Mm-hmm.
And then the end of the show or the end of the movie, Robin Williams became president, but they found out that somebody had tampered with all the voting machines.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say that storyline was much more interesting and funny, at least. This, not so much. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's kind of scary, actually.
It is. It's ridiculous.
But the thing still remains. If this goes through and nothing is done, then what good is the American people to even vote again the rest of your life?
I'll never trust it again.
I mean,
Nope.
even if I like the candidate, what good is it for me to go and vote if they're going to let this slide now and be okay with it? I feel like as a person, my vote doesn't matter anyway. So basically, you just took away my right to vote. And it's all because, let's face it, I've said it before, it's all because the elites want to control us and they're getting money from China. But, I mean, we probably really need to ask some people what their thoughts are about that. But
Well,
I can't.
I mean, they've shown there's so many video proof that these machines can be manipulated that it's beyond comprehension. While anyone would think that, oh, this is safe, this is secure, it can't be changed, it can't be, when we already know it can be. And they've already demonstrated that those machines can be tampered with. They were saying that they have proof that even before the election started, they preloaded the Democrat candidates with thousands of votes already preloaded in the machine. I mean, call me crazy, but I don't put it past the Democrats doing something like that.
Well, and then too, and I'm just going to be plain English about this. For this to be done in this country, and then for nobody to literally say, okay, this is garbage, let's throw it out. American people need to jump up and be like, you know what, we're going to whoop your ass for this bull crap.
Yeah.
Because our vote my vote matters, and I want my vote to be for who I want it to be, not for who they decide they want it to be. I mean, this should make American people mad as hell. And I guess you could say I'm starting trouble by saying this, but this is the reality of it. This is real stuff. This is not a movie by J.J. Abrams.
Mhm.
It feels like an alternate universe.
It really does. I feel like I'm trapped in the Twilight Zone. I just don't understand how some of these people don't see that they didn't have a legal way of taking away our right to assemble. They didn't have a legal way of taking away our right for speech. So what they do, anything that you disagreed with, they labeled it racist. With this the right to assemble, includes protesting, going to church, and all of that mess.
Yeah.
Separated the populace from each other, made them weaker by themselves, so they can't congregate and get together in larger numbers. I mean, these people are getting the American people are getting played right now, and they don't realize it.
And I brought this up earlier, and I'll say it, on here. Keep thinking of that analogy about Stalin and the chicken. Are the American people the chicken? Do they want to be the chicken so bad? I mean, if y'all don't know what I'm talking about Stalin and the chicken, Stalin demonstrated that he took a live chicken, pulled all the feathers off the chicken while it was alive, put the chicken down, and then grabbed a handful of corn and tossed a few corns out to the chicken, and the chicken ate and followed him, saying that it doesn't matter what you do to someone as long as you throw them a few crumbs, a few stimulus checks, they're going to follow.
And then if you don't, they're going to riot. Did you see, Justin, Elgin and I was just talking about it. Did you see what they did to Mitch and Pelosi's house over the weekend?
Yeah, I saw that. I saw Mitch's. I was like, damn.
Yeah, they got
That's what you do.
they got Pelosi too, and they left a pig's head on Pelosi's porch.
Oh, come on, man. Free borders. All that.
What's dinging?
I don't know. It's not me.
Not me.
That's some Godfather stuff right there,
I know, right?
Good Lord. Well, the American people should be mad, because here's the thing. Whether you understand it or don't, everybody that's here in America has I guess you could say, a symbiotic relationship with the other person, just because each state trades goods and services with another state. Goods and services go through each state, providing jobs to people in different states. I mean, that's how this all works. And you essentially want this socialism that's going to basically crap on all the working people. So if you are a plumber, if you are an electrician, if you are a construction worker, farmers, you're going to get crapped on so freaking hard, it's ridiculous. And then penalized for doing just the simple things of you trying to work.
Well, speaking of penalized, I mean, wait till you stand up to bitch about it.
Oh, yeah. I
mean, the left does not like people that disagree with them.
No. I read part of an article that the whole goal of this New World Order thing is, for one, and this includes us, for no one to own a house anymore. Everybody will rent. So owning
From
property.
Who?
Huh?
From who? Uncle Sam?
Yeah. No one will own property ever again. you know, the article also said that farmers, like the small town farmers, even if you've got like 100 acres, you know, that farmer will be penalized for polluting and causing greenhouse gases with his farm equipment. So if he has older equipment that he's been using, because it's not up to the standard, he'll be penalized and taxed on that. I mean, this is part of this new world order thinking.
You know, it's starting to remind you of.
They want everyone in urban areas. They want all people to move from the country into the city where they have them together and they can control them.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of the new world order is de-urbanize the world. They want everyone in a population area, say, if you're in Kentucky, you'll all move to Louisville. And Louisville will just grow and be one big city. And then the land, the government will control all of the empty land.
It's starting to sound like the Hunger Games.
Now,
They tell you that you can't hunt or feed yourself, but you can only get fed through them. That's bullshit.
what is stopping their goal from happening right now?
It's basically the people.
An armed citizenry.
Right.
Yep.
Why do you think they spend so much time, so much effort, so much money trying to disarm us? Because as long as we're armed, they'll never achieve their goal.
No.
Yep.
That was the problem. And if you look at Venezuela, what did they do? They disarmed the public and they brought in socialism. They're eating their dogs down there now. They're starving to death.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. Before we started the podcast today, I have not looked at it, but Next News Network has a video out on how the elites want the regular people like us to eat 3D printed meat.
Yeah, saw that.
I'll be killing everything out in the woods before I do that.
Say what?
Yeah, they figured out how to 3D print meat.
Yep. I love the look on Justin's face.
I know.
3D meat?
Yes. You know the 3D printers, right?
And most of these people making this decision couldn't even change a damn tire, but yet they're coming up with these ways to feed us.
Yeah.
Man, the good Lord above gave me a bunch of skills necessary to feed my family, myself. I'm good. Keep your 3D meat.
Here, and you got to look at another thing. Something that's just kind of quietly moving along is, Elgin, I know you know, because you told me the other day, vitamin D is one of the important things that fights the COVID, right? Okay. I don't know, maybe, Justin, they've done it to you, but I know the VA has put me and Elgin both on vitamin D.
Me too.
Okay, so there's something there, okay? Why is Bill Gates coming up with this plan to screen the sun? Have you seen that yet? That's his newest product. Okay. What is it going to do by screening the sun? It's going to cut down your vitamin D.
Yeah. And it's a necessary part for the human body to produce its own vitamin D. That's what a lot of people don't realize. Going out in the sun, absorbing that sunlight, you produce your own vitamin D. It's necessary for men, especially older men, whenever we're testosterone production. It's closely tied in with that. So guess what? They're taking away your ability to be a man on multi levels.
Yep. I mean, who is he to decide to screen the sun out?
It's starting to sound like that movie, The Highlander. Whenever they put that big shield around the earth, like the second Highlander or whatever. from the
Yeah.
80s.
These ideas, this just blows my ever-loving mind. It's like, who actually looks at that person and says, you know what, that's a good idea? Who even says that's a good idea?
The person you're paying.
First off, doing that, what else needs sunlight on this planet? Plants.
Everything that freaking grows.
Right. But plants are in charge of oxygen production.
Okay, here's the theory here. He says scientists would fly. I asked you. Hold on. Scientists would fly a balloon above Sweden that would test to see if blocking the sunlight that directly hits the Earth would help fight global warming.
God.
The first test could happen as soon as 2022 and is receiving backing by Microsoft founder Bill Gates. Excuse me. Don't F with my son, all right?
Yeah, man. It amazes me the arrogance of humans that they actually think they can disrupt what the good Lord put into play himself.
It's arrogant to think that we've done anything to the world that we can fix.
Yeah, right, exactly.
It happens. It changes. It happens. It changes. It's done that throughout the existence of the world.
But you tell a bunch of uneducated dumbasses that with these liberal arts degrees in gender studies, all of a sudden they're freaking experts in the field of meteorology and freaking astrophysics and all this other shit.
No, they still don't know exactly when it's going to rain or snow, especially here in Kentucky.
Dang, man, how arrogant do you have to be that you think you can destroy something that a force outside of this world created?
First off, they really need to understand that these people are not as smart as they give them credit for. And like you said, Jeff, everything has been created here for us. The only way that we could possibly just tear up the entire atmosphere is if we started dropping nukes. If we started nuking a bunch of people, that would tear the freaking atmosphere all day.
I'm trying to hold the crust apart there.
Yeah. But as long as that doesn't happen, I mean, Trump already addressed this. He said, we're already doing everything possible to combat global warming. Like, we have the lowest emissions, like, of any country.
What good does it do? We agreed to all those restrictions, right? Did all that stuff.
Yeah.
But China didn't.
Nope.
China's still chugging right along. They're the biggest polluter of the planet. And nobody will say a word to them because it's China.
I'm so sick of China. I know I sound racist when I say this, but that blasted, I'm so sick of China.
I'm tired of the Chinese government. I'm sure the Chinese people are sick of their own government too. That's why they're out there waving American flags.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's not let me clarify that. It's not the Chinese people. It's so much as their
Oh,
government.
you're just racist.
I know, right? Yeah, right.
But the Chinese people are in worse shape than we are. You think about where they're at. You know, they're at that point. They don't own any property. If one of them owns property, there's somebody who's tied into, you know, and then they live in those little cube houses and with their fake grass.
This brings up something I was going to bring up. I guess in the next week or so, we're going to have Tony back on.
Yes.
Tony's son just came from China. Tony's got a lot of information about Wuhan and what was going on in that area. He shared a little bit with me the other day, and that seems to me like that might be a little interesting.
Well, we'll definitely get Tony on here to talk about that.
Because he said his son just came back and had a long talk with him about what was going on in China right now.
Well, I think people are finally getting the idea that China is the problem. and it's not Russia, Russia, Russia. But kind of moving along, we'll get to that with Tony. But what about Arizona and Georgia, Bill? I'm hearing they may go ahead.
Well, according to news I'm getting out here, is they have enough evidence to flip Arizona and Georgia. Supposedly, according to their own state legislature, it's flipped. And the Biden people know this because Biden people already came out and said, well, that's fine. It don't make no difference. We still won. You know, with the other state, well, they have at that point. If it's
Right.
just Arizona and Georgia, then they still, in their minds, have enough with the other ones to win it. But here's the kicker. The report reads, Pennsylvania is on the verge of flipping too. And if it does, then it's all over for Biden. If they can get this done by the 6th and get that information to the House and the Senate, we'll see what's going on. But it looks like with all their investigations, they've done their own internal investigation, and they say they had the proof to show Arizona and Georgia flipped to Trump. It's going to be interesting here this week. This is going to be a big week. I mean, a big week. With everything going on, I know, Elgin, we talked about it earlier. There's rumor. Okay, everyone here does know that there's a mass gathering in D.C. on the 6th, right? Millions of people are expecting. It's going to be hard. The D.C. mayor's already shut down restaurants, gas stations, everything in town in advance of this to make it hard on the patriots coming. They're still going. I've been reading where they're planning on sleeping in the back of their trucks and, you know, the whole 9 yards. What we're hearing, you'll have to decide on yourself if this is true or not. What we're hearing is Mitch and Pelosi are trying to come up with a deal to say, yes, we're going to investigate the election. We won't certify the election yet. We're going to investigate. Once they put that out, which is what we want, all the patriots will leave Washington. Once they leave Washington, then they'll step up and say, we found no evidence of fraud. We're going to certify the election. That's something we're hearing is in the works.
See, that's that whole backdoor dealing crap.
Yeah. You there?
And yeah,
I mean,
I
that's just something that we've been hearing. Elgin, what do you think?
it's the same thing. I mean, how can I, after, no matter how this turns out, how can I ever again trust my government? I mean, the Republicans are supposed to be fighting for us. The Democrats, we know what they're fighting for. But if you've got the Republicans are like, okay, well, let's make a deal and let's do, you know, that's not what we want. So if that goes, how do I trust my government? How do I go to a voting machine after all of it and think, why am I voting anyway? It doesn't even matter. I mean, Justin, what are you thinking?
Man, y'all don't know. Want to know what I'm thinking? I'm
You might,
sick to death of this stuff, and man, it keeps going around, man, and you're gonna start screwing around, or they're already screwing around with the entire population and the backbone of this country, the workforce. You don't want them to stop going to work. If they stop going to work, that means they're going to be picking something up to change the shit that's been going on, and they need to be careful. That ain't a threat. That ain't nothing like that. It's just a fact. You can only kick a dog so many times before it either rolls over and dies or it comes after you.
exactly.
And that's something that the left doesn't think about. They think that there aren't any alpha males left. There aren't any people willing to stand their ground against them because they're the elite, and they think they can easily shepherd all these idiots out there, convincing them to isolate, convincing them to hide their identity, take away their ability to feed themselves. I mean, for God's sakes, that's exactly what we did in concentration camps, reservations, all of those things. I said we, but we didn't have anything to do with that. That was someone else.
Right.
So these people just have no idea, man. There are some people out there in those other foreign countries like Russia, China, that are just so indoctrinated with socialism or communism. They think it's just the only way to go. Well, man, that's no lifestyle I want any part of.
No.
No one has the right to tell me what to do, what I can or can't do with what I've earned, including this government.
I mean, the U.S. Constitution laid it out. The forefathers country laid out that Constitution because they knew that there was going to be some idiots to try to just be all powerful. That's why we have the United States Constitution. That's why everything is lined out in it as to how this country be run and conducted. It's still about us. It's still about the people. And man, I don't know.
Okay. I just got a breaking news. Yes, you read that right. Congress, led by Nancy Pelosi, has banned terms such as father, mother, son, daughter, brother in the name of wokeness.
But
Says, yes, you read that right. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and the Rules Committee Chairman James McGovern were the ones who announced this new level in the Congress circus. I have to say, I don't think the clowns were that entertaining anymore, so they had to prove me wrong. They have banned those words all the way down to granddaughter and grandson to comply with gender neutral terms.
I guess this is just for them, right? For
It's
them
in Congress, yeah.
yeah.
It's the new House rules in Congress.
You know,
You will be referred to as siblings or parents, but not father or mother. Siblings in law or step siblings.
Family, going after the family unit.
Yep.
Again.
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 And then
You know,
right
some
below it,
poor,
and this is actually from the Washington Post. And then they got a picture at the bottom of Darth Vader. It says, Luke, I am your parent. Your father.
Oh gosh, this stuff makes me so mad. You know, I feel like, here's honestly what I feel like.
How much stupider can you get?
I know.
Well, man, Nancy Pelosi's also the same person that said, what's wrong with so many people getting laid off? It gives them a chance to go out there and chase their dreams.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Freaking moron, man.
You know, at this point, if the people rose up and tore down the government, I really think the people that they should put in place of all of these different places, one, we should start with some farmers. Let's get some good farmers up there in these high positions. Let's get
You and I
People-
talked about this the other night. Let's go back to the way it was intended to be.
Yeah.
If you are a congressman, you go to Washington for a month and do your job while Congress is in session for that month, and you go home and work on your farm. You're going to get paid for that month. This is not a career. It is not designed to be a career. It is you're representing the people in your community where you have your farm, where you have your business, where you work, go to send kids to school. You're representing that area. These guys haven't been to that area for 40 years because they're living in D.C. They don't know what's going on back there. They're not representing us.
No.
They have no idea what we're about.
Nope, I agree. But we definitely regular people. I'm done with politics. I'd be happy with Junebug down the corner here if he was up there. At least Junebug would have some more sense.
He knows what's going on at home, and he knows
Yep.
what we need.
Yep.
When did we become, get all these career politicians that become millionaires on $140,000 a year? How do you do that? If you make $140,000 a year and you're in Congress, say, for 4 years, how do you leave there a millionaire?
You invest in China.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Which brings
us to January 6th. Like we said, all of this is going down January 6th. I at this point, I can't just say it without sounding like I'm trying to start a revolution. I mean, the American people have got to stand up, for the love of God. I mean, we've got to take a stand. If we get run over now, there ain't no coming back. There ain't no be like, oh, well, we should have done it. Let's do it now. Nope.
Well, let's get them next time. No, there ain't going to be no next time.
Trump is supposed to, January 6th, he's got evidence that he's going to release. He says that has never been seen by the media and that has not gone before any court.
Well, there's an ever increasing amount of congressmen and senators getting in on this. Did you see Ted Cruz today?
Mm-mm.
Ted Cruz was on Fox News today, and he says, I think we have an obligation to the voters and we have an obligation to the Constitution to ensure that this election was lawful. So, looks like Ted's jumping on board.
He seems to be one of the few.
There's hundreds of senators, congressmen already. We just got to get more senators on there.
Well, I should say Ted seems to be one of the few who's really trying to fight for the American people.
Yeah.
And he's calling bullshit all of this.
Yep.
And that's just what we need. I mean, we need more of our elected officials to do that. And at this point, Justin, I'm just going to tell you, it doesn't matter if you're Democrat or Republican. It should be doing it on the sole principle of it's the right thing to do. Right.
Well, there's too many of those people out there that I don't care. 90% of those politicians, 99% of them, nothing they care about is themselves. Staying in their important position. They seem to forget that positions of leadership was meant for you to serve your people, not for your people to serve you. And they need to be reminded of that.
Right. I saw something, I only looked at it for a moment, but saw something. Tulsi Gabbard is still making headlines. I mean, she's a Democrat, but she's not with this whole radical socialism movement that the Democrats are pushing. And she
Yeah.
had some pushback against what Nancy's wanting to do. You know, this whole thing. But irregardless, I can accept the loss.
I could too.
You know?
But ask the left if they could.
Yeah.
Okay, do you remember yesterday? This just broke from Fox News. Do you remember yesterday? We're thinking we have the one senator and a bunch of congressmen going to contest the election, right?
Mm-hmm.
We didn't think there was just one senator. Now it says Fox News has just learned that Ted Cruz will lead the senators objecting to the count, and he will be accompanied by 14 other senators. It was at one senator and a bunch of congressmen. Now we got 14 senators on board, and it says by the 6th, we hope to have triple our numbers. Maybe.
Well, I hope the people and those senators and Trump evident when he brings this so overwhelmingly compelling that it forces the left to do nothing but concede.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope people get arrested.
They
You know,
should.
which brings me to another point. Of course, I was sent a video to watch. Now, whether this is true or not, I don't know, because there's a lot of stuff out there going on. But this is supposed to be evidence that has been found that positively links Hunter and Joe to Chinese money. They are claiming that they have every money transaction from China to Joe, from China to Hunter, from Hunter to Joe, and it's all connected back to China.
Here's another breaking tweet from the real Donald Trump. Massive amounts of evidence will be presented on the 6th, and we won big.
I like it when he sounds confident. Somebody somewhere is going to be very upset.
Yeah.
Every time he does.
We're at 35.
Okay. Well, like you said, Justin, there was another video clip like from the 80s talking about Donald Trump, and he did an interview, and the clip was just like a minute long. But Trump said, I like it. He said, chips are against me. He said, I like it when they're looking bad. He said, because, then that's when I'm at my best,
Yep.
I'm like, I don't think they know who they're messing with this man. I really.
Yep.
They don't.
I agree. I completely agree.
But Justin, what else you got?
I don't got much else.
Well, this has been, like I said, here at the Blue Collar Minute, and we've been looking through stuff, and everything's pointing to January 6th. I mean, wherever you're at that day, January 6th, just remember it, mark it on your calendar, mark where you're at, because that day we are guaranteed something is going to happen. And don't know what it'll be, but it'll be something. So, final thoughts, Justin?
Same thing that we've been saying all along. Do your own research. And man, we're going to have to start looking at sticking together on this.
Right.
So you guys, man, be safe. Stay together. Always keep in contact, and you need to start getting some of your stuff together just in case society decides to head south and throw the giant temper tantrum I'm expecting.
Right.
So, man, be careful. Keep your heads on a swivel. Know your surroundings.
Bill, final thoughts.
Well, basically what Justin said, just watch, be observant, don't take anything for granted. Do your research. Don't believe everything you find, because we were talking earlier, we found stories that says this, and we find the same time another story says this. There's a lot of false information flying around. There's a lot of good information. You're not going to find it on Google. You're going to have to go to some of these other search engines. But just be vigilant. Keep your eyes open and your ears open, and stay safe.
Sounds good. And I'll just add to that, Bill says search engines, DuckDuckGo, good search engine. Also Rumble, if you're looking for good videos, which you can also find the Blue Collar Minutemen on Rumble, Spreely, Parler. We're on Twitter, Instagram, MeWe. We're on YouTube as well. And our older podcasts, we still have those up on Spotify. They're still there if you want to listen to some of them.
Also on Megabook.
I always forget about that one for some reason.
Yeah, I forget about that one myself.
And we're also on Megabook. But like Justin and Bill are saying, guys, it's going to boil down to us. I mean, this is your country. This is your state. That's your city, wherever you're at. We should all want the truth, and we should all want a race. There's going to be winners, and there's going to be losers. And let me tell you, I have lost at plenty of games in my life. But the thing is, everything. You got to bounce back. You got to keep pushing. You got to try harder, right, Justin?
That's right.
So that's how you get better, and that's how you win. And that's what America's all about. So, guys, from the Blue Collar Minutemen, we thank you for joining us. God bless you all. God bless America. And you all be safe. We'll see you.
Stay safe.